Yesterday, I was speaking about this whole situation that I got going on right now. And I know that in the past, I've spoken about these things. And I'm going to go, I'm going to talk about them again today. And I always, from the utmost sincerity of my existence, I'm just going to give you my perspective. I'm going to put my perspective out there. Because at the end of the day, it is what it is, right? I mean, I managed whatever it may be, it is my perspective. All right. I mean, look at my results. All right. I mean, take a look at what it is and then just understand that this is my perspective. OK. When I say these things, I do not say them. I sincerely, with the utmost sincerity of my soul, God as my witness, I do not say these things to be malicious. I do not say these things to be I don't get a kick out of saying these things. I'm going to say this like I'm just stating a fact. You have to understand, from my perspective, there are idiots in the world, legitimate idiots. And I was saying this yesterday, but I am not, I am not going to consider my agent to be an idiot. All right, I've already said that I'm going to give her a second chance. I've already said that. I'm not saying that she's an idiot. I've already said that I'm going to give her a legitimate second chance. If she does anything that makes me think that she is an idiot, then okay, here's the thing. Redact that. I from the utmost, I am going to find it I believe that it is my responsibility to give this person a second chance. I have taken a look at things and I believe, so with that being said, I'm going to talk about the idea of being an idiot and how it happens. All right. And why do I not want to work with idiots? Here is the thing. I've spoken about this, right? The idea of being an idiot is that usually it is ingrained. It is usually permanent. The damage is usually permanent. This did not happen by accident. They live in a microcosm. Usually when you have an idiot, you have a person who is genuinely living in a microcosmic universe that encourages them to be an idiot. And I call this being a flea in a jar, right? I've spoken about this. Usually when somebody when somebody acts like an idiot, usually it is ingrained. It is usually, the damage is usually permanent. Almost always. It cannot, okay. And I do not say this to be malicious. I do not say this to get a kick out of it. I'm not saying this because I enjoy saying it. I'm saying that this is going to, and then I will tell you my perspective. Why do I see things this way? Why do I see things like this? Usually when you have somebody who legitimately acts like an idiot, they're usually surrounded. It's called being a flea in a jar. They're surrounded. They're in a situation where they are effectively permanently damaged because they are always being encouraged to act like an idiot all the time. And here is the thing. Why do I not work with idiots? Take a look at what I'm doing, and then I'm just going to give you my perspective. Take a look at what I'm doing. I have millions of dollars on the line. Millions. I am looking to generate millions more from utilizing that capital. Think about it. I need the most capable people that I can find. When I've already said that when you take a look at what I'm doing, it's kind of a miracle, right? I mean, if you just take a look at what it is that I am doing right now, it is kind of a miracle just to begin with that I managed to generate millions of dollars on a 10.5 acre field. That in itself is already kind of a miracle. Take a look at the results. Take a look at what I'm doing and just consider the results. It is kind of a miracle that I managed to generate millions of dollars on a 10.5 acre field. I am legitimately in a situation where I have zero money problems, none. And here is the thing. Listen, and I've already said these are my plans, right? This is what I'm looking to do. This is what I'm looking to do with the money. These are certain metrics that I'm looking at when it comes to the market, etc., etc. Here is the thing, right? And I've already given you my goals. I've already said, these are the plans, and these are the objectives that need to be met. These are the goals that need to be reached. And if I reach these goals and I reach these objectives, and I've already talked about this whole situation, right? My whole plan is like it's like when you take a look at somebody and something about you is legitimately like, I don't know what it is about this person, but they are legitimately, I don't know what it is, but they have a large amount of money. I can't tell what it is, but it is, I get this feeling that they have more money than anybody that I know. When you find somebody like that, what happens is that person has more money than probably you and everybody that you know combined. Why does that happen? Because if you take a look at the wealth distribution scale, about 99% of the population of the earth makes less than 250. When you start getting to a point like me, you're talking about a 0.000001% chance. That is legitimately the situation. I make about as much money as about 200 to 250 people combined. And here is the thing, I legitimately have zero money problems. Zero. And I think that this is also an interesting idea. The idea of not having any money problems. It doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter how much money you make. You can make $40,000 a year. You can make $50,000 a year. You can make $100,000 a year. If you have zero money, legitimately zero money problems, then that is good. That is good. Right? Because I've already spoken about my whole situation. Like, if I didn't take the money that I made, the whole big thing about me is, like, if you take a look at my plans, I've already given you my goals and I've already given you my ideas. And I've already said that the whole thing about me presenting my goals is that when I present my goals, I also present them with the idea that, keep your BS to yourself. I will legitimately kick you into a hole. Because here's the thing. Like, when you take a look at what I'm doing, I'm leveraging a portion of my earnings to buy myself a new piece of land. And on that new piece of land, I am anticipating that I expand my business by about 325%. I'm going to increase my earnings by increasing the target weight of my animals and also increasing the size of my herd. And when you take a look at what I'm doing, right, I've already talked about my numbers, and you take a look at me, and you say, oh my God, he is legitimately, gonna invest 150% of his income, right? He's gonna, for every dollar that he makes, he is going to invest $1.50, right? And to you, that might seem whatever, right? To you, you might get scared. And me, the whole thing, I've already talked about this, how did I end up in this situation? I'm gonna move forward with the plans, even though things have kind of changed. I'm still gonna move forward with the plans, etc., etc. Right? And when I take a look at my numbers, I probably make on the average, if the markets go sideways at 240, 250, and even if the markets dip, I've already talked about this idea, the markets are not going to zero. We are not ever going to wake up in a world where the price of beef cattle is free. I've talked about this, right? Like, if you legitimately think that one day we're going to wake up and the price of beef cattle is going to be free, you're an idiot. Beef cattle are not going to zero. All right, I mean, keep that to yourself. Legitimately, that would be one honest way to to legitimately present yourself as an idiot. If you think that the price of beef cattle is going to zero, you should probably reconsider your entire existence. All right. And so here is my thing. And I've already said that, I'm good. This is what I'm going to do. These are the goals that I need to meet. These are the benchmarks that need to be hit. These are the objectives that need to be reached. And these are not wild, La La Land journey, mystical, magical adventure type objectives, right? These are not some obscenely, out of left field. There is zero chance. This is, for the average person, I understand that this is going to be borderline impossible. But for me, take a look at me. Do I look like I'm going to, I've already talked about this whole thing about my situation. If you legitimately think that I'm going to fail, then bet money. Here's the thing about me. Like, and I don't say this as a joke. I don't say this with a lightheartedness. The thing about me is that the way that my mind works is that I'm going to do it or I'm going to die in the process, legitimately. And take a look at what I'm doing. right? I mean, it's like I've been talking about, I've been planning, I've been looking at how much money I'm making right now. What am I going to do with the money? How am I going to invest that capital? What am I going to do? What are my long-term strategies? What am I looking to accomplish in the next year and a half, the next 2 years, etc., etc. Right? I've already spoken about all this. How much money am I making right now? You know, when I make that money, what are the goals that need to be hit? What are the objectives that need to be reached? Right? You know, I bring them home at, if I'm going to buy a number 1 to 1.5 type medium large frame steer, then I go on the stock market, I look up the price of feeder cattle, I take a 10% deduction, then I cut that number in half and I go to the sale barn. And when I buy a number 1 to 1.5 type medium large frame steer, that is the price that I'm going to pay. And depending on the animal, you know, I'll pay more or less, right? If I got a heifer, I'll pay less. If the animal is not a 1 to 1.5 type medium large frame, I'll pay less. Whatever it is, if I see an opportunity to make money, then I'll take it. Right, but the overall idea of the whole equation is that the feeder cattle market is essentially the basis for the price, right? So here is the thing. When you take a look at what I'm doing, do you think I'm gonna fail? And if you do, you're probably an idiot, and you should probably start keeping your BS to yourself. Because here is the situation. Right, okay, take a look at my situation. I've already given out my plans, right? I'm gonna invest about 150% of my income. All right, I made the plans without knowing that I don't need to do that, but I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna continue forward with my plans. Because I've already talked about this. Well, in reality, for me to lose 150% of my income in beef cattle, from my situation, that would mean that if I bought 200 animals, if I bought 100 animals, for me to legitimately go to zero, I would have to lose 100% of my animals. Do I look like I'm gonna lose 100% of my animals? Even if things went horribly wrong, I would not lose 100% of my animals. All right, and the thing about the beef cattle is that when I put money in beef cattle, effectively what happens? I make about $1.70 to $2, right? For every dollar that I put into my business, I make about $1.70, $2. So here it is, right? I mean, and so that's why I made the plans like that. Do I, you know, in terms of a financial sense, it's kind of nutty, right? It's like you're gonna make $1 and you're gonna invest $1.50. It's kind of nutty, right? I mean, it's like, you know, but that's the thing about me. When I present my goals, and I've already given the whole ideas of why am I gonna be doing this, right? I've already given the idea of how it's gonna be done, right? And I've already said that, you know, if you legitimately, whatever, right? I mean, you know, maybe now is a very good time to, you know, just come to the conclusion that you should probably keep your BS to yourself. Because here is the thing, right? Take a look at my situation, right? I mean, the average person, when you take a look at this and you take a look at what I'm doing, even this is borderline impossible, right? I mean, borderline impossible. Probably you're not going to see anyone ever do this in your entire life. And I'm talking about increasing it by 325% by myself. Right, it's like, you know, and it's like, oh my god, where are you gonna get 140 cattle, you know, whatever, right? And I've already said exactly how I'm gonna get the animals, right? I've already said exactly what kind of animals I'm gonna buy, right? My cattle buy more cattle. When I sell one animal, I effectively make enough money to buy about 2 animals, right? And I've already talked about creating an efficient business. How do I keep my business efficient? I don't sit there and go, I hope the price of corn stays low. I hope the price of feeder cattle go higher. I don't do that. What do? I grow my own grass, right? I keep my equipment to a minimum. Why? Because equipment always breaks. Why do I grow grass? Because it's practically free. It will always be like that. Not always, but I mean, grass growing, and I've already talked about this in terms of a broader idea. Why is it so much cheaper to always, effectively until the ends of time, why will it be cheaper to just grow grass? Because if you grow corn, to harvest that corn, you need to combine it. You need to put it in a big old truck. Then you need to go and put it in a grain bin. And then you need to take it out of that grain bin. And then you need to take it to a commodity broker. And then when it's all said and done, you get the whatever, right? And that's when you have your finished product. And along the way, your tractor's gonna break. Your baler, or not your baler, your combine is gonna break. You're gonna have to fix something. That costs money. You're gonna have to take money out of your farming business to fix your combine. Right, I've already talked about all of these big ideas, right? And so that's why I run cattle on grass. And also the reason that I run cattle on grass is because in where I am located, in Central Texas, the weather is practically almost good 9 months out of every single year to grow grass. Effectively, I can grow grass 9 months out of the year, year round. Every single year on the average year. Our soil is good, our weather is good, it grows a lot of grass, etc., etc. Right, and so take a look at my situation, right? And I've always said, like, you know, the whole thing about this is like, you know, the thing about me is that, like me, I'm gonna do my part. You don't have to worry about me not doing my part. Right, I'm not gonna go and make money and then suddenly decide that I just wanna, here's the thing. All right, here's my situation. I'm gonna do my part. But when I, you know, and here is how my I guess this is a interesting way to put it. So when let's say I go and I hire an agent to represent me to buy land, I'm going to introduce this idea to this person as well. You are going to have to do your part, or there will be no compensation. That's the big idea. That's the world that I live in. If I do not do my part, there is legitimately zero compensation. And I've spoken about this, right? The idea of being a business owner. Why do I not suggest it? Because unless you can make a drastic amount of money, you could legitimately be stuck in a situation where you have to work 100 hours a week and you will get paid zero money. I've spoken about this, right? This is one of the big realities of my existence. This is one of the things that I have to deal with on a daily basis as well. I have to deal with this every single day. That if I do not produce money, then I can be in, then you could, anybody, it doesn't matter, it's all the same for everybody. There is no even distribution of money. The idea of being a business owner is that if your business sucks, right, you know, if you cannot make money, then you could legitimately be stuck in a situation where you are desperately holding on to something for no good reason. I've legitimately seen people who work 7 days a week and then bankrupt when they're 70. Barely made enough to get by the entire way, and then congratulations, now you're a cashier at a grocery store. Right? You don't want, and I say that not to be malicious. I say that because I don't want that to happen to people. Why would I? I'm not a malicious. I do not want that to happen to people. Why would I want that to happen to people? That would be crazy. I legitimately do not want that to happen to people. Right, so I offer these various strategies for making money, right? I talk about all these various strategies for making money. If you legitimately think you're going to make it as a farmer and you're in a situation where, like, if you're not going to drop everything that you're doing for the next 15 years of your life and work 15 hours a day, legitimately, that's not what you're going to do, then you're not going to make it. Don't kid yourself. Go and do something else. There are a lot of things that you can do where it's like you can work 50 hours a week and make enough money to live comfortably, right? There are things that you can do to work 40 hours, 50, 60 hours, something like that. You don't have to work for 15 years straight without getting paid. And you can still make the $15,000 a month. There are a lot of things that you can do. Right, I've talked about all these things. And here is my whole situation with this agent. Here is my perspective. This agent, I've already said this, and I was saying this yesterday, I'm not going to think of her as an idiot. I'm going to give her a legitimate second chance. All right, I'm not going to think of her as an idiot. Because usually what happens, because okay, here's the thing about me dealing with idiots. When I see a legitimate idiot, I have, I don't, it's not like I think that they're an idiot because they make 100 times less money than me. I don't think that they're an idiot because whatever, right? But but if I legitimately have come to the conclusion that this person is an idiot, then I leave them for dead. Why? Because the thing about my situation is that I have millions of dollars on the line. Millions. This is not some joke. I have millions of dollars on the line. I need capable individuals. And at the end of the day, the thing about my whole situation, I'm not here to save people. I'm not here to save people. Okay, I will give people a second chance. I will give this person a second chance. But if because usually what happens when you have an idiot is that the reason that they act like an idiot is because it has become ingrained. That means in the future they will continue to act like an idiot. Under any circumstances, it probably cannot be fixed. Under any circumstance. And the thing about me, let's take a look at my situation. I'm not saying that I'm a saint. I'm not saying that I'm a perfect individual. But you're not going to see me go and be an idiot, right? I mean, you're not going to see me go and make whatever, right? $2 million and then go and buy myself a Lamborghini. You're not going to see me go and make $3 million and then go and buy myself a Rolex and go around slapping people in the face with money. You're not going to see me do that. I generated millions of dollars. I have legitimate zero money problems. And I am still sitting in my trailer with an F-150, expanding my business. And I have a very clear-cut idea of what I need to do to expand my business, right? I've spoken about this, and I've already given out my plans in great detail. And the thing about me is that I'm not going to fail on my part. You know me, I'm not going to fail on my part. My portion is going to be done. Trust me, it doesn't matter what you think. When you take a look at my situation and you go, oh my God, he's talking about running 140 cattle to the highest market standards. He's going to run these cattle to a commercial grade. He's going to run 140 of them by himself. Right? And he's legitimately, to do this, he's going to have to grow grass at like a world-class level. And the thing about my situation is that you can already, even though that is what it is, consider it done. I'm not going to fail on my portion. Bet money. Right? And I don't want people on my team that are going to fail on their portion either. And it's like the whole situation is like, why do I offer this compensation, right? Why do I offer this compensation? And why do I feel okay with offering this compensation? Because me, it's not like I sold my soul to the devil to make money. I'm not asking people to sell their soul to the devil to make money. At the end of the day, I believe that what I do is very important. Because I run beef cattle, I feed people. At the end of the day, I'm not doing some horribly malicious thing to make money. I run beef cattle, I feed people. If you want to know what the world looks like if we legitimately do not have farmers, very capable farmers, we're talking about a genocide level of starvation. And in terms of my results, it is kind of a miracle that I was capable of generating millions of dollars on a 10.5 acre field. That is kind of a miracle already. I generated millions of dollars on a 10.5 acre field running commercial cattle. That is kind of a miracle. That's kind of a miracle already. Let's take a look at the results. And my situation is what? I'm going to take a portion of my money and I'm going to invest it so that I can increase my business. And I'm anticipating that I increase my business by about 325%. I'm not selling my soul to the devil to do it. I did not get paid until my 13th year running a business. And if you want to know what it's like to go and have to make yourself millions of dollars running commercial cattle, then go and do it. Nobody is stopping you. It's a free country. If you wanted to go and do it today, if you live in America, you have the same opportunities as me. If somebody's a prick, you kick him into a hole, and then you just move on with your life. That's how it's done. All right, you have the same opportunities as me. If you live in America, it's a free country. Nobody's stopping you. If you want to go and make millions of dollars running cattle, then go and do it. Nobody is stopping you. All right. Other than that, keep your BS to yourself. If you legitimately, right, it's not fair. He makes such a massive amount of money. It's not, whatever it is, I don't think keep it to yourself. All right. The least that you could do is at least not present yourself as an idiot. And I've said that communication is very important, right? And I'm not saying this to be malicious. I'm not saying this to whatever, to get a kick out of it. But I give you some things that you can talk about if you legitimately want to go and do a deal like this. If you legitimately want to go and do a deal where you're gonna generate millions of dollars, I've already given you a format of things to talk about. And if you legitimately do, and do not go off the format, if you do not clearly think about what you're gonna say, talk about your asset. Right, I've always said what you're looking for in reality is an equitable asset. And when you take a look for an equitable asset, what are you looking for? You're looking for something that has a very large market. Very large market. Billions, trillions of dollars in this equitable assets across the US, across the world. Why is this thing equitable? Because it is valuable to everybody. It is not valuable to just you. It is valuable to everybody. That monetary value that the asset is worth is called an appraisal. If you want to know what your asset is worth, you appraise it. If you want to appraise a business, if you want to get an idea of how much a business is worth, think about, if I got 10% of this business, how much would I need to pay? I was talking about this yesterday. Would I accept $200,000 for 10% of my business? Absolutely not. That would be ridiculous. If I legitimately, okay, take a look at my numbers, right? And I am anticipating that I make probably somewhere around $350,000 net profit next year. I would say that my cash pile is going to be around $500,000 to about $750,000 next year, right? I'm sitting on about $250,000. So take a look at my situation. If I sold 10% of my business today for $200,000, that means next year I would be paying $35,000 to the person that invested in my business. And the thing about investing, I've already spoken about this. When you invest in something, you are not actually using money. You are trading the money for something that is equally as valuable. So this person not only got to keep their $200,000, they could take the $200,000 out of my business whenever they wanted. They not only got to keep their $200,000, but they also made $35,000 on top of that money after just 1 year. That would be almost a 20% return. Would that be something that I am willing to do? Absolutely not. Would you do that if you ran this business? If you were running this business, let's just say that it's not me. Let's say that it's whoever else. If you were sitting here running this business, would you sell 10% of it for $200,000? And if you said yes, you're an idiot. Take a look at the numbers for what they are. I'm on a 10.5 acre field and I already produce a net positive income of about $100,000 a year, somewhere between $70,000 and $100,000 a year. What do you logically think is going to happen if I increase the amount of land that I am farming by 500%? Just use your 2 brain cells. Think about it for a minute. I'm going to increase. Take a look at my balance sheet. Take a look at what I'm doing. Take a look at me as an individual. If I got put on a 50-acre field, what do you logically think is going to happen? Think about it. And if I was willing to sell 10% of my business for 200 grand, then my business would be worth 2 million. If you would be willing to sell 10% of your business for 200 grand, then your business would be worth 2 million. That's another realistic way to appraise a business, right? That's another realistic way. I've always said that all businesses are evaluated the exact same way. When you take a look at the sale price of a business, it is always a multiple of the earnings. Right, and I've spoken about buying a business. If you legitimately want to run a business, then go and buy one. Do not start a business. Nobody cares about your business. Nobody cares about your dreams. And I know that is very, 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 very sad to hear. And I don't say that to be malicious. I don't say that to be a horrible person. I legitimately have seen people who bankrupt at 70. I have seen people who legitimately barely make enough money to get by all the time, desperately holding on to some worthless business for no reason, when in reality, you could have done half of the work and made the same amount of money. The one time I would suggest that you actually go and start a business is if you can make a large amount of money. If you can legitimately make a large amount of money, then go and start a business. If you want to run a business, for whatever reason you have convinced yourself that you want to be a business owner, then go and buy one. Go on the internet right now and type in businesses for sale. Take a look at the business listings. Find something that you like. Go and talk to the owner. Ask him to show you the numbers. You check the numbers 5,000 times. If the business has kind of been stable over a long period of time, it's not showing any real growth, then offer 3 times the earnings. Take a look at how much the business is netting a profit and then offer 3 times. Give them 3 times. If the business legitimately is zero growth, like there was legitimately zero potential for growth, then offer 1 to 2 times. But you don't, unless, like if there was legitimate, like zero real estate involved in, etc. There are businesses out there. A good idea of a business that is selling at 1 to 2 times multiples would be like a pool cleaning business. If you go on the internet right now and you take a look at a pool cleaning business, these businesses usually sell for 1 to 2 times earnings. It's just one guy in a truck. It's a one guy in a truck and he's going around cleaning people's pools. That's a realistic idea of a business that's gonna sell for 1 to 2 times earnings. A realistic business that's gonna sell for 3 times earnings is something like an ATM business. Right? If you go around and you set up ATMs and you run the ATM, something like that's gonna sell for like 3 times earnings. Right, and then if you have a business that you are looking to invest in because in the future you believe that the business is going to grow exponentially, the earnings are going to go higher. If you believe legitimately, and I've already said that when you go into a business, most of you aren't saving anything. If you are going to save a business, you legitimately need to be like the most capable individual on the entire planet. And I talked about this like Gordon Ramsay. If you put Gordon Ramsay in your mama's kitchen, it would be Gordon Ramsay in your mama's kitchen, and I'm not saying your mama's not a horrible cook. I'm saying if you had a horrible restaurant, if you had a restaurant that was failing, then Gordon Ramsay could go into that restaurant and save it, right? Gordon Ramsay could do it. But most of you are not saving anything. So don't buy a damaged asset. All right, and it's like, and if you have a business where it's like the business is stable, the business is good, it's producing a positive return, and it's been doing this for a very long period of time, and you anticipate that it's just going to continue forward like that, granted that you don't act like an idiot, then you can buy that business for about 3 times its earnings, offer 3 times the earnings. If you look at a business, and I used my business as an example of this, explosive growth, incredible management. The guy who was running the business is like the most capable individual I have ever seen in my entire life. I have legitimately listened to his business plan. He's planning on growing this thing by 325% over the next 365 days. He's already in the process of purchasing the land to do this. He's already producing enough cash flow to float his debt service for this new piece of land, and he's going to grow his business by 325% over the next year, and he is anticipating that he grows it again within the next 2 on an exponential scale. So I am going to offer this one, whatever the price may be, right? I will give him $25 million for 10% of his business. right? Something like, if you legitimately find a business where you look at it and you're like, because, and you take a look at it and you go, well, I legitimately anticipate that this business is going to do massively better in the future. And you can actually, or if you want to take the investor route, I've always said that there is the Warren Buffett approach, right? The investor route. You don't want to get involved in the business. You don't want to get involved in the business. You just want to put capital in the business because you anticipate that in the future, the business is going to grow exponentially, produce you a good return. And at the end of the day, when your money goes into the business, that money did not just evaporate. You traded that money for something that was equally as valuable as the money itself. If you wanted your money back, you could always just take your money back. Granted that you didn't lose money, granted that the business didn't go the other way and just bomb fail. If the business goes to zero, then you lost all your money. But if you logically anticipate that the business is going to do better in the future, if you can actually get involved with the business and make the business do better, either one of these situations, then you can offer a growth multiple of the business. Right, and et cetera, right? There are many ways to make money as long as you understand one of them to a very thorough degree, and then you just pick one and stick with it for a very long period of time. As long as and if you do that and you fundamentally understand your investment, that is more important than about anything else. All right, there are many things you can invest in, many things. All right, and and at one point I'm going to talk about the idea of leverage. I don't really want to go over the idea of leverage today. The big idea of leverage is like when you see me utilizing leverage, I talk about taking the appraisal value of my herd, seeing the net positive amount, and then taking a loan for that amount, and that's called leverage. All right, I've talked about this, and why do I do that? Because if I do that, then I stay at a net zero balance, but I'm appreciating more assets at the same time. Right, I've talked about this, and I'm one day I'm going to talk about leverage. One day soon I'll talk about leverage and the idea of leverage. And you should only really leverage if you truly understand what you're doing. And the big idea, and I've already, the big idea that I wanted to just go touch on today was that I'm not saying that my agent is an idiot. Okay, I'm not saying that my agent is an idiot. I've already decided that I'm going to give this person a second chance. And I hope that this does not turn into a situation where I say, in the future, I say, I told you so, and then I have to leave this person for dead. I hope that it does not turn into that. Right? Because, I'm going to give this person a legitimate second chance. And I sincerely, with the utmost honesty of my soul, I hope that this does not turn into an I told you so moment in the future. I don't want to be proven. I don't want to take a look at this person and just have been proven that this person is an idiot. I don't want to have to do. I don't want to do that. I sincerely whatever, and it's like, I've always said that it's very important to think about what you're gonna do. Or I think about it. Don't go and call somebody, oh, by the way, 36 hours the contract is gonna close. That's not good for business. That makes you look like an idiot. All right, that's not good. All right, think about what you're doing. And I've always, and I'm not saying that I'm a saint, but the thing about me is that I really think about what I'm doing, right? Why am I going to offer this person this much money? I'm looking to do what I'm going to do. My plans are my plans. I'm not asking for your opinion. If you legitimately think I'm going to fail, you should probably just keep your BS to yourself. All right, I know what I need to get done. I know the goals that I need to reach. I know the objectives that I need to hit. And when I reach these goals and I reach these objectives in this amount of time, et cetera, then I'll be good to go. And I believe that it's going to take me about 1.5 years. Maybe, maybe I start looking for another piece of land here in about a year. In about a year, I'll start looking for another piece of land. A big one. And I've already gone over my business plans. I've already gone over these things in great detail. All right, and the thing about me is that you can already consider my portion done. You don't have to worry about me. You're not going to see me go off running off into the sunset tomorrow in a Lamborghini. All right, if you take a look at how much money I'm going to invest into my business over just the next 365 days, I could easily buy myself the best Lamborghini on the entire, well, not maybe not the best, but I mean, I could easily buy myself a $1 million Lamborghini, and it would only take me 1/3 of my money. All right, so you're not going to see me go buy myself a Lamborghini tomorrow. You're not going to see me running around slapping people in the face with money. You're not going to see me going around in a Rolex, right? I mean, legitimately, what am I planning to do? I'm planning to invest a portion of the money that I'm making right now to expand my business by 325%. That is what I'm going to do. All right, and consider it done. All right, I'm either gonna do it or I'm gonna die in the process. I don't say these things lightly. My plans are the plans. Certain goals need to be met. Certain objectives need to be hit. And under these circumstances, these are very reasonable goals and these are very reasonable objectives. And when they are reached, I'm good to go. And along the way, I am going to effectively, bring people onto my, I'm looking for a veterinarian, right? I've already talked about this. When I get to a point where I cannot do everything by myself, at that point, I will hire somebody, right? I'm not a new agent. I've already got myself a real estate agent to, handle my things for the real estate portion. And I'm also looking for a veterinarian, and I've also hired an accountant, right? I'm not doing my accounting by myself anymore either. I'm gonna hire an accountant. I'm gonna pay an accountant, and these people, I'm gonna pay them bonuses, right? I'm gonna pay them bonuses, and depending on the whatever it may be, I'm gonna pay bonuses to the people that helped me, right? And so along the way, I'm looking for capable people. I'm hiring and capable individuals, and I'm looking for a cattle veterinarian. I'm looking for I've already got an accountant, and I've already got myself an agent. And if I ever come to the conclusion that I'm dealing with an idiot, I'm just going to leave them for dead. There is no fixing people. There is no saving individuals. Usually the damage has been done and it is permanent. So that's it for me today, YouTube. Y'all have a good one.